Good morning, everyone. President Halimah Yacob, patron of the Council for Board Diversity, Ms. Soon Chye Ling, Minister of State for Home Affairs and Social and Family Development, Council members and honored guests, a very good morning. It is Mildred's and my distinct pleasure to welcome all of you to the Council for Board Diversity's 5th anniversary event and forum. As we are well known, today's leader is a leader of change, one who is agile, adaptable, and harnesses uncertainty to advantage. In this spirit, in the next 90 minutes of conversations, I hope it will offer real-world insights on stewarding organizations in a time of change, being today's leaders with a view to tomorrow. We have an excellent lineup of speakers. First, President Halimah Yacob in a fireside chat with Minister of State, Ms. Soon Chye Ling, followed by a panel of familiar stewards who day by day leave indelible marks on corporate Singapore. Their generous sharing on leading organizations in a vocal world offer invaluable takeaways for all of today's leaders leveraging change for new opportunities. You would have noticed by now that there is a predominance of women being featured today. So for the men, you probably will ask, what about diversity? No, the Council for Board Diversity has not lost its compass. We have not neglected the men, though they are mostly in the audience. What better occasion than on CBD's anniversary to shine the spotlight on the immense talent Singapore has amongst women. Just look around the room. One would have little reason to say, but I can't find qualified women.
So, very good morning from me as well. And I just wanted to add to Boon Chye saying about why is there not enough women, right? But there are plenty of very well qualified women with us today. Diversity is an integral part of Singapore's fabric. It is what makes our city-state unique, enables us to thrive, and gives us a leg up in the global stage. Being particularly obvious aspect of diversity, a woman's participation on boards brings distinct value both for the women's contribution as a professional and as a lead-in for the consideration of broader diversities. Meritocracy and diversity can coexist. It is not one or the other. To be clear, CBD believes in merit-based appointments, and every director must possess the skills and experiences to contribute effectively to boards, regardless of gender, age, or ethnicity. In harvesting the talent pool, let's consider diversity brings with it a rich tapestry of perspective and approaches. Diverse boards are more likely to understand and make different but yet right responses to customers, employees, and stakeholders. And diverse boards are more likely to identify and capitalize on the emerging trends and opportunities to drive growth and manage risk.
At CBD, we prefer not to talk too much about numbers. We don't want the metrics to overshadow the value add that diversity brings to organizations. But numbers are a useful proxy on how well diversity is embraced in the boardroom. So we'll take a couple of minutes to share some figures with you that we're even at a state where we're able to talk, shows the progress that has been made over the last few years. Efforts to many of you in the room and many that are out there. As of June this year, women on boards of the top 100 companies on the Singapore Exchange has reached 22.7%, up from 15.2% at the end of 2018. That's 3 times more than the 7.5% women on board that we saw in our first 2013 study commissioned by Madam President herself as Minister of State of Social and Family Development. The proportion of women's participation on the boards of statutory boards is 32%, having made swift progress from 23.3% at the end of 2018. They were, in fact, the first sector to meet its 30% voluntary target last year, and we're glad to see the public sector take the lead in exemplifying diversity at board level. Last but not least, at the 100 largest institutions of a public character, the sector is just about 30%, is 29.5% seats held by women. That's about a 2% increase over the last 5 years, but I think we all can feel very encouraged by the regulatory guidance in the revised Code of Governance for Charities and IPCs, which puts board composition and renewal into focus.
You might ask, why not just set a quota? Isn't that faster and legislation is easier? I must tell you that this is a real question that came up to us from a very senior member. And it's an ongoing conversation within the CBD. We believe that when organizations embrace board willingly, they put in more effort into harnessing its benefits, including the contributions of women directors, even if they don't meet the quota. But meeting the quota becomes a compliance issue rather than something that they want. So many champions said to us, we are gender blind, diversity in appointing board members is important, but we cannot find suitably qualified women who best fit our board. But look around us today. We have so many suitably qualified women. But every board chair wants the very best for their organization. So it becomes a very painstaking search to find their first female director that they trust. But once they do, they see the benefits of bringing into the boardroom the diverse leaders with multifaceted perspective and experiences. In fact, since 2013, 15 of our top 100 companies have gone entirely from all male boards to having at least 25% of women on boards. 6 of them are now gender balanced. It's an incredible achievement, and I think kudos to the chairman for their foresightedness. So the work is far from done. At present, only 9% of boards at the top 100 companies are chaired by women, and the women sit on less than a quarter of all audit, nominating, and remuneration board committees. We encourage companies, statutory bodies, the charities to consider appointing more women to board leadership positions. Those that do are more likely to harness the diversity as a business imperative. And we encourage the charity sector to draw on the revised Code of Governance for charities and IPCs when reviewing their board composition. Let's work towards gender parity. Not only does a non-profit board reflect the organization's values and beliefs, a diverse board also helps strengthen the trust between the organization and the diverse community we serve. Board diversity is therefore a collective effort, At today's gathering, we have the great opportunity to network with our peers. We saw a very lively group of people talking with each other and to gather and share perspectives on harnessing board diversity to navigate change and strengthen our organization's excellence.
For all these reasons, the Council feels it is timely to build a firmer trust behind efforts for diversity. Today's event is the first of the CBD Circle, the Council's new outreach program to encourage Singapore's board diversity. Still in its pilot phase, CBD Circle offers thought leadership and networking opportunities for both board decision makers and board ready candidates to facilitate a sustained increase in women directors and the adoption of broader diversity. Roundtables tailored to nominating committee members, investors, and impact investors and charity donors are in the pipeline, and our boardroom luncheons and seminars will also continue. Initial activities will grow the audience in preparation for the Circle's launch and the inauguration of a flagship Board Diversity Summit slated for late 2024, while also building up research and resources so that CBD continues to grow as a thought leader and go-to organization for board diversity matters.
I was just going to share a little anecdote that Boon Chye and I had to say that it certainly wasn't our wisdom to choose today, which is a cooling off day for the polling. And therefore, when Wendy texted us yesterday to say, oh, we've got quite a lot of media and press today. And I said, why would they be, why are they busy with all the elections? No, today is cooling off day. But really, truly, it is so auspicious for us because as Boon Chye shared, it was Madam President who first started us on this journey. She conceived it, and here we are. And it's such a wonderful thing to be able to celebrate this with her, CBD's 5th anniversary. And it's a reflection of a decade's work, and we want to thank and acknowledge her wisdom. So it was late 2012, and there are some women here who were at that lunch when Madam President conceived the idea, and she was then the Minister of State for Community Development, Youth and Sports, I think. And she said, let's have a look at this. So a study was commissioned to understand women's presentation at companies' board. And that's the pinnacle, right? It's the highest level. And at the time, it was 7.5%. So this was way below the global average and lower than our neighboring countries. And I know that we have some Malaysians and Philippines with friends with us, and they were doing double digit. So was there a lack of capable women leaders in Singapore? Well, the result suggested we need to have, and she said, we need to take action here. So it became known as the Diversity Action Committee in 2014, and eventually we became the Council of Board Diversity in 2019. Madam President recognized that moving the needle on board agenda diversity wasn't just the government's responsibility, but one that required private-public partnerships. And therefore, in the Council of Board Diversity today, we have corporate leaders, professionals. We have folks from the charity sector who leads us across all the wide section, business people and public sectors. CBD would like to thank the President personally for consistently championing women in leadership and for her role in initiating wider board diversity movement. In fact, every year, Boon Chye and I and our council members all troop to the Istana to give her a report on what's going on and what we're doing. So, and without her foresight and without her encouraging organizations to tap on the larger pool of expertise and backgrounds, Singapore's journey to board diversity would have taken a very different path.
Madam President, we appreciate your counsel and leadership through the years. Thank you for making the time despite your hectic schedule to be with us today to share your leadership insights with us. Honored guests, thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you'll find the discussions insightful. Have an enjoyable seminar.
Thank you, co-chairs, for taking us through Singapore's board diversity journey.